The Fallout world is one packed full of mysteries, theories, and in some cases, urban legends that captivated fans for years. I'm Mark from Digital Dissection. I make Fallout lore videos, and today I'll be your guide to 9 times where Fallout's games extended into territory far beyond its intended storytelling. Nessie and the Loch Ness Monster have been a piece of pop culture history for decades. But the Lake Mead monster of New Vegas is a much more recent entity, one that has a more reasonable explanation than grainy photos and unreliable testimony from the 1930s. Lake Mead is the home of a myth in the Mojave Wasteland due to a radio broadcast by Mr. New Vegas and players who took his words quite literally.
Witnesses report a huge object or creature surfacing in Lake Mead. So far, photos of the so-called Lake Mead monster are grainy and underexposed.
For those who have done the Volare quest, you'll know it's no monster at all, but a sunken B-29 bomber that has sat at the bottom of Lake Mead, crashing on July 21, 1948. Recovery of the plane caused some in the New Vegas area to think they had witnessed a monster, having never seen that type of technology before. But why has a monster of unknown design persisted as a myth amongst players? Well, sometimes people see and hear what they want to. Fallout 4's Far Harbor is a DLC known for its terrifying creatures, story decisions, and a mysterious fog enveloping the entire area. Part of the fog mystery involves local stories that a mother of the fog will appear before certain individuals, and is a great omen to recognize. The player character encounters the mother of the fog after drinking water from a mysterious spring where she acts as a guide. An NPC is shown known as a ghostly figure, a silhouetted character with very little interactions. While the Mother of the Fog is indeed a real part of Far Harbor's experience, she's an urban legend of sorts because some players have claimed to have seen her outside of the specific interactions coded in the game. Multiple claims state that she can appear randomly and monitor the character despite where she's actually supposed to spawn. The speculation led to many to investigate the claims further, but her only interactions occur during the quest, Visions in the Fog, and not outside of this specific instance. It was nearly impossible to avoid Slender Man lore in the early 2010s. The original creation of Eric Knudsen in 2009 debuted as a Photoshop contest on the Something Awful forums, and it didn't take long at all for the fictional character to take over the internet. Some claim that Fallout New Vegas also had a version of the character appear within the Mojave Wasteland, with screenshots showing what looked to be the very same long-limbed monster attacking a player. The enemy character was missing its head, and looked just as horrifying as the Slender Man images flooding the internet at the time. While the screenshots were believed by some, its original poster in 2014 would later explain that the distorted character seen in the images was actually a glitch and not an intended character model. Texture stretching could become a problem with the Gamebryo engine, particularly on consoles after extended gameplay and overheating. Even though this isn't one of the better known of Fallout's myths, some still claim the Slender Man can appear within the Mojave Wasteland. Of the many Fallout protagonists, the sole survivor of Fallout 4 is notable for a few reasons. Of them, spoken dialogue, heavy customization, and possibly being a synthetic life form, at least if the theory or legends can be believed. The sole survivor being a synth began to gain traction after the Far Harbor DLC, when they're asked by an early prototype synth named Dima if they are also Institute technology. While many view the question as a purely existential one, a growing group of speculating fans took it a step further. The sole survivor can actually use VATS, the Vault-Tec-assisted targeting system, without having to wear a Pip-Boy. And despite this being more of a Bethesda oversight, others saw it as a synth integrated with weapons targeting technology. Others have gone so far as to suggest that Sean, the sole survivor's son, recovered their dead parents' body from Vault 111, replicated their consciousness, and then erased all of the evidence. The entirety of the concept, however, relies on far more than what the game's story provides. And considering how much Blade Runner influenced Fallout 4, this is one myth that required a lot of help to stay relevant so many years later. Area 51 is another location with very real origins outside of Fallout's games, and the secret military base was rumored to have a presence somewhere in the Mojave Wasteland, due to Area 51 being north of the Las Vegas area in real-life Nevada. The rumor of a Fallout Area 51 meant that players assumed it was just outside the invisible borders of the New Vegas map, as you can see more loaded terrain outside of the areas you can actually walk to. Given the presence of aliens in New Vegas with the Wild Wasteland perk, many began buying the story, and a screenshot of a fenced-off base with a sign for Area 51 added fuel to the fire. Unfortunately for true believers, no secret government base can be found outside the New Vegas area. Any proof of its existence is entirely speculation, or mods created by the extensive New Vegas creator community. Perhaps you've seen the Lovecraftian content found across the Bethesda era of Fallout's games, and perhaps you choose to entirely avoid these areas due to how creepy and terrifying they are. A truth of the Bethesda Fallout experience is that old mysterious figures are worshipped and found in different ways. The question many fans have asked, however, do ancient gods exist in Fallout that simply haven't taken center stage? Evidence of these beings appears several times, as a site of worship of one named Ugg-Qualtoth appears underneath Fallout 3's Dunwich building. Alongside the ancient sites is a book named the Krivbekne, an ancient tome possible of extending life beyond normal human capabilities. A similar site is found in Fallout 4's Dunwich Boars LLC, with both locations causing hallucinations and more relics of unknown origins, with evidence of human sacrifices. The clearest example of a Lovecraftian being, however, actually exists as a creature known as the Interloper of Fallout 76, a massive tree-like being deep beneath the Lucky Hole mine. No one knows how the creature arrived, but it has been worshipped by cultists for generations, and leaves a door open to nightmarish possibilities. Its twisted tendrils feature human-looking hands and appendages, but its purpose remains a mystery. Does it mean there are larger powers at work in Fallout? Fans have been speculating for years, and likely won't stop anytime soon. Lone Wolf Radio is an abandoned trailer in Fallout New Vegas, with the purpose of being another radio station in the Mojave Wasteland. Its host, the Lone Wolf, was rumored to be a psychopath that would use the station to spread disturbing musings and horrific subject matter. A scrapped quest would supposedly allow the courier to assist the Lone Wolf in a possible murder, as the radio show host would be discovered to be a serial killer, granting perks for completing his questline. By the time New Vegas premiered, however, no quest could be found about the supposed Lone Wolf. And while the location existed, none of the story emerging online was proving true. The reality was, the Lone Wolf station wasn't as dark and disturbing that many in the internet were speculating. The discussion would still run rampant, however, until game designer Denise McMurray disclosed that the Lone Wolf was inspired by a friend that they once knew, who would get on a soapbox at the University of Oregon and shout out their opinions. This unnamed friend would use a microphone and speaker to talk about a bevy of topics, many times including government conspiracies. It would seem that while the Fallout universe has plenty of strange, bizarre occurrences, this time it isn't one of them. Did Fallout 3 predict the future? For years, a persistent story spread amongst forums and fans detailing a mysterious radio signal that would begin broadcasting across the Capital Wasteland, so long as a series of specific criteria were met. Known as the Fallout 3 number station, the radio broadcast would pop up on Pip-Boys if radio DJ 3Dog is killed, prompting his assistant to take over the Galaxy News radio station. When accessing a high-altitude location like Raven Rock, satellite relays, or Tenpenny Tower, a monotone, non-charismatic 3Dog will begin reading a series of numbers. The numbers were apparently translated by Fallout fans to detail relatively mundane stories, but predicted the deaths of Gary Coleman, Queen Elizabeth II, and the British Petroleum Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. What creeped out many fans, of course, was that these events didn't happen until Fallout 3 was already released, meaning that these details were part of the game in 2008. This story, however, quickly fell apart, as no game files support any of the claims of what appears to be a creepypasta originating in 2010. While the story isn't technically 100% disproven, it still remains as one of the franchise's best-known myths. Cemeteries are already creepy enough without adding more context, but of course Arlington Cemetery in Fallout 3 just had to go and get fan speculation amongst other things. The Arlington National Cemetery is a very real place in Arlington, Virginia, the final resting place of well over 400,000 people, maintained by the United States Army. Fallout 3's version became the focus of a myth involving the Arlington Cemetery ghost, that many claim is a real entity you can witness in the historical site. The rumor began shortly after the game's premiere, and many claim they saw the evidence. This included things like randomly occurring wind gusts that can have a chance to spawn while exploring the area, and some have claimed that the wind will form a human silhouette. The ghost has also been supposedly witnessed watching the player from afar, but unfortunately for Fallout ghost hunters, the actual truth is a bit different. The mystery of an Arlington ghost persisted for well over 15 years, but the concept appears to finally have an answer. According to user West Virginia Loner of the Fallout Wiki, an NPC named Poe was apparently meant to spawn while saluting a grave marker when first entering the cemetery. According to the code, when approaching Poe, the NPC will disappear. West Virginia Loner provided the following screenshots in August of 2023, showing data directly from Fallout 3's game files. According to this user, Poe, however, never worked, a glitch preventing him from appearing on both consoles and on PCs. If this information is to be believed, it means the ghost is actually real after all these years, even though he's one that no one could have ever seen. And with that, we thank you for joining us as we explored mysteries, theories, and urban legends across Fallout's games. Are there any bizarre stories from the series we missed? Let us know in the comments. And for more content just like this video, check out our Fallout Stories playlist linked here, where you can find more weekly Fallout content. And until next time, pop culture nerds, keep on dissecting. This is Mark signing off.